There we go. Hey, good morning. It is, I'm going to forget this again. It is July 14th, 2018. My name is Jeff Fritz. Welcome back to my live stream. And I'm wearing Flyers black and orange today. Philadelphia Flyers black and orange. That's the, this is of course the logo and colors for my local professional hockey team, our top level hockey team here in the States. And they also are they are owners in part of our Overwatch team who won last night. Our Philadelphia Fusion advancing in the Overwatch playoffs. I'm thrilled, and now I really need to get my hands on a Philadelphia Fusion hat. Hey, good morning, Joe Bunn. So they both wear the same colors. They both wear orange and black, both teams, that is, because they are related, and I need to get my hands on a new hat, it sounds like. I think this will be the last time you see me with the Microsoft Learning mug for a while, because I have a custom mug coming with my face on it, actually, with the Everything Works Ship It logo. Real excited to get that in the house here. Let's get some music to code by playing here today. You know what? Today I'm going to go back to blue. Old favorite. This is music to code by, of course. Music that gets you in the flow. Scientifically designed to get you focused and make your brain a little bit happier so you can get stuff done. A mug with my mug. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're going to be looking at here. So, we've got some nice music in the background here. I want to go over and talk about today migrations in Git branches. So we had this great question here about showing some clear examples of EF core migrations in a team workout, in the team environment, how they work. And it's something that should be working better for our team working in Core Wiki. But because we're using SQLite doesn't support those, doesn't support table alters, doesn't support schema alters very well. And that feels bad, right? I mean, point blank feels bad. So I just want to run through a couple samples. I want to mock up a couple things here around using entity framework migrations. And then I'd like to go over to our Core Wiki project. And, okay, we've got an upgrade of Bootstrap from SMAB. That's fine. But I'd like to start talking about this and get some folks inspired for what a first start wizard would look like, and try and minimize the impact of our migrations that we've been applying to our database. Sound good? What do you think, chat room? Let me know. I think that's a good agenda for today. Is that music too quiet in the background? Should I pump that up a little bit? What do you think? I think it needs just a little more juice. There we go. I think that's good. All right. All right. So let's talk about entity framework migrations. The purpose of migrations, right? And if you haven't used migrations, and what STAP 123 is asking for here is migrations should help you maintain your individual developer database easily, as well as when you promote those changes to your next environment, when you're maintaining a large enterprise application, a website that uses Entity Framework. It should give you a clear-cut list of database changes that you apply to that next environment, right? You just say migrate, and it does it. It applies all of those changes cleanly. And some of the problems that they describe here, how you can go through and fix things, you end up doing some conflict resolution and then re-adding migrations. And that's not too bad. That's actually quite easy to do, because theoretically not everybody is working on the exact same table on the exact same time. So you end up with Jeff makes a commit and he fixes, or adds a feature to table A, and Joe Bun makes a change and enhances table A, but they come in at 2 separate times, so theoretically they just upgrade and make it work succinctly, right, in consecutive order. So to follow up and make sure that we answer the questions here from Stap, how do you merge both branches into dev given migrations and snapshots are all muddled around each other? Well, theoretically, they should merge properly. Theoretically. If not, then after you merge, check them, fix them, and then remerge, rebase. It's an issue that I often wonder about and can never find a clear real-world demonstration of the solution. I got it. I figured it out. I can read. Created, merged, and released into the live environment, meaning there is live data, and you don't have free reign over removing and adding migrations as you wish. In between deployments, you do have a little bit of control over that, right? Before you deploy to your production environment, you will have control over your migrations. So, if I were given the choice, I would not have chosen a SQL-type DB for Core Wiki. I would have selected just stupid XML JSON file store or a NoSQL solution like MongoDB or similar. I see no need to fighting the schema for this. That's a great point. That is a very good point, and in fact, on that very first show together with Shane Boyer, when we kicked off the Core Wiki project, that was something he suggested was, at some point, it does make more sense to use a document-style database, like Cosmos DB or MongoDB, even Azure Storage, to persist this data, because then you actually get out of schema management. You get out of using Entity Framework altogether. Because for a document-style database as well, it's a little bit faster. It's a little bit easier fetching those large blob data storage instead of SQL, where it's not entirely optimized. LightDB is a good alternative to Mongo as a NoSQL. I'm not familiar with LightDB. Is that Janos? Janos Audrey? How do I pronounce that? Standby reloading. Would you be interested in migration mechanics for SQLite in Core Wiki? I think you said you had something around that, didn't you? My concern when we started Core Wiki was I wanted to have minimum requirements, minimum changes, and something very easy to get your hands on without having to set up extra resources to build and work with and learn Core Wiki. Jano works well. Okay, great. So LightDB. I'm not familiar with LightDB. What is LightDB? A .NET NoSQL document store in a single data file. SQLite version of NoSQL, just a DLL. I haven't seen this. Embedded NoSQL database for .NET. But you will get the problem of moving account handling from SQL to something different, which is non-trivial. But you might keep the accounts in NoSQL. There are other user repositories, other role repositories. There's other schemas that you can get for interacting with identity. It's not impossible to build, but you're right, Joe Bunt, it's not trivial to just drop in a different provider. Let's take a look here. Standalone database, like DB serverless database delivered in a single DLL, fully written in .NET C# managed code. Nice. Simple, fast, no SQL database, ideal for mobile apps, desktop, local, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Portable UWP and Xamarin iOS Android, ACID transaction, single data file. Wait a sec. Okay, .NET Standard 1.3 and 2.0. I want to make sure it works in .NET Core so we can get it over to Linux. Make sure folks are able to use it on Mac. Not bad looking. All right. Online shell, huh? A subset version of desktop console like DB. Neat. All right. I want to answer the questions though around entity framework migrations. Good for unit testing with an in-memory database. Well, we can do in-memory database with entity framework core as well. Yes, migrations. I'm looking at the event panel over there. I need to add another entry there. I'm giving a keynote at a conference in Las Vegas in November, and I forgot to add it to our panel of events that I'm speaking at. All right, we'll figure that one out. And I want to get a better logo for dev intersection. That one's plain. Yuck. All right. So let's talk about migrations. Let's mock something up here. Let's not use SQLite for talking about migrations because, like I said, SQLite and migrations, and I think you've seen, don't work too well together, and it ends up being a little bit of a pain to maintain and push data around because they kind of clobber each other. Because it's a single file database, you can't actually maintain a database out there easily. So as a team member, you end up deleting your development database all the time. Similarly, when we deploy to production, we'd end up clobbering that database as well. Right? Clobbering, deleting. Want to make sure my Americanism isn't comes across to our international viewers. I'm just looking at the list of folks in the chat room here. Decaf Smurf. That's a pretty good handle right there. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Decaf Smurf. All right. None of my alerts and things are popping here. We should have gotten a couple hosting notifications. All right. So let's talk about entity framework and migrations. I'm going to actually start up a demo application. And we'll push some data around here, and we'll use SQL Server to kind of show what it's like to have that persistent database that we're going to overwrite stuff, and yeah. So it continues, it persists, and it kind of grows over time, and that's kind of where migrations lend itself towards very well. The single file database where you can just build a new version of the file, and you're not going to persist that in source control. Doesn't work as well with this. Hot diggity dog. Does migrations and code first have to go hand in hand? That's the way they've structured entity framework right now. Right there. There is kind of a preference for code first right now, but if you are using an existing database, you can actually scaffold the objects that are in your database, and then use migrations to further grow that. Or you can flip it around and you can do more of a database first interaction and generate your objects as you need it. I'm not going to build a function app today. I'm going to build a .NET Core app. I'm just going to build an ASP.NET Core web application because that has Entity Framework built into it. And I don't have to think about adding more stuff. You can do scaffolding and then migrations. Yep. You can write your own migrations that work in SQLite, but you can't yet always have them generated automatically. Yeah, the automatic generated SQLite migrations haven't been the best quality. But Smab, are you suggesting that you can do the table alter statements a little bit better with SQLite? Because that's something I would be a little bit more interested in. Let's call this EF Migrations Demo. And sure, I'll create a web application, and I'm actually going to turn on authentication so I get all the Entity Framework stuff created for me by default. There we go. I think I know who Hot Diggity Dog is there. He uses the same handle over on Blizzard games, if I'm correct. Alright, so I've got simple database sitting here, simple application sitting here, and by default, double click, there we go. By default, it's set up to use a SQL database, Microsoft SQL database, and I do have local DB set up and running on this machine. And by default, identity is here. There is no content for identity in ASP.NET Core 2.1. This is because the new identity, the new Microsoft identity system, is actually scaffolded and added into, it's not scaffolded, it's a Razor class library, and you can scaffold those files back into here if you need to customize them. This way, you can update your identity library by just updating a NuGet package instead of having to build a new project that uses the template and figure out which pieces you need and copy and paste them over. An alternative would be to modify the up migration method to move data in a new table, cobble the old one, create it via migration, and copy back. It's a hassle. It does take a lot more code. It's currently on the SQLite EF team's roadmap. The issue my company is having with migrations in code first is if I have to change the column, it becomes a two-step process. Doesn't happen all the time, but a pain. Yeah. And I know who it is. Alrighty, fantastic. I know exactly who it is. Great to see you. We were up late last night together, commenting back and forth on the Overwatch match, and it was amazing. If you like watching first-person shooters here on Twitch, go find the VOD from that third match. The Hanamura offense by Philadelphia was amazing. The Eichenwald offense by Philadelphia on the third match was amazing. Just bull rushed right through. The 3 DPS, 3 tank, and Eichenwald, and they just it was a steamrolling that I have not seen them pull off before. It was awesome. There we go, and there's a Fusion logo in the chat room. Woohoo! So, Entity Framework generates and has this database context, and identity wraps this a little bit and gives us the ability to have our Entity Framework, our identity user, and all of those associated objects generated and maintained by this, hidden underneath this identity DBContext object. And if I F12 into that, that's go to definition. You'll see it's an identity DB context of type the default user, default role, and I can even click into this further, and you can see it's another identity DB context of generic type, blah, 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 blah. And I'll continue drilling in, and it's an abstract class, blah, 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 and it has an on-model creating hanging out here, but it is a database context that allows us to work with this. Now, right, if I scroll over here, we should see identity user context. I can even drill in a little bit further, and there's the database context, that it's the standard entity framework database context that it relies on. So, right, at a very low level, this application DB context is an entity framework context, so we can build on this and do some other cool things. So, by default, we have a migration that's actually generated for us that creates the default schema, the default changes to our database. Now that's nice. If we were to put this into a Git repository for source control, and I'm going to go to what do we call this? EF migrations demo. All right, good. Let's initialize a new repository here. Is that font size big enough? I'm not sure if that font size is big enough. 24. Go one more up. I want to make sure you can see the font on Twitch. All right, so we have an initial migration out there, and I'm going to need a gitignore statement. Let's grab a gitignore real quick. Gitignore Visual Studio. There we go. Notepad, right? And gitignore file is kind of important, right? Because it keeps us from storing things like the bin folder in our Git repository. We don't want to store, right, our binaries or intermediate compilation in source control. So let's add that to start. Okay, add the rest of our stuff. That's fine. Initial code. All right, so everything's in Git source control, including that initial migration, create identity schema. Now, if you look at this, one of the things that this does, and I believe it creates the tables appropriately, and if you need to back this out, it also drops the tables. So that's nice, that I can update to various states of my database to keep this in sync. The alternative, of course, is to somehow keep track of the changes in database between my local developer version of the database and my shared version of the database, so that I know exactly the alter table or create table or insert, default seed data statements that I need in that shared database or in that QA or production area database. And if you've ever had to maintain version of a database back and forth between those various environments, it's a pain in the neck. So by developers having to push their schema changes through this strategy, makes it clearer and easier exactly what database changes are needed. And Hot Diggity Dog pointed out, it's also easy to go the other way if you prefer to build things database first. So let's build out our database to start here. We have a migration here. Of course, let me go down into the folder here. Of course, I can update my database by saying ef database update, and then it will build the application and update those tables in my local SQL database appropriately for me. Seed has been made easier in 2.1 with has data. Yes, and we've done that here on our core wiki project. And there's actually a little bit of a challenge around adding default users with this. Maybe we can experiment with that here in a few seconds. I want to finish talking about migrations first. But seed data for default users feels a little strange. It's not I don't think it's quite there yet. Let's finish with this, and maybe we can experiment and come up with something. I had a question actually from our friend Amanda Iverson from Code Fellows, who joined us a few weeks ago, and we worked through email notifications with Amanda. If you're interested in learning about that, you can check out the archived video on YouTube or here on Twitch in the Videos on Demand section. So we have our database created, and I can actually go to SQL Server Object Explorer here. And in my local DB up top here, pop open databases, and you'll see there's my EF migrations demo. And if we look at the tables, there's all the tables that this said to create. So if I did a pull from the shared source control and I got these updates, I would, at this point in my local database, I would run that same .NET EF database update. How come I am still using 2.10 tools instead of 2.11? Is there a global JSON floating around here? I don't see it. Oh, do I have Karnak running? Let's make sure. No, I don't have Karnak running. Let's get Karnak running. Is there a global JSON on the root? Really? Nope, I don't have a global JSON there either. That's weird. I've been running the 2.11 tools. Global JSON? And let's open that up. I mean, I have had that running. I thought I had the 2.11 tools. I'll update that SDK later. I don't want to spend any more time going through that, but I guess I don't have it here. Huh. Okay. So we've got these entries in our database. And if we do prefer to be a database first developer, I can add a new table here. And, right, if we wanted to call this, I'm looking here. Is this the only place the table name is? ID, name, let's make this a varchar, sure, 50, I don't care. Price, USD, and let's make this a decimal, let's make it decimal 18.2, that's fine, that's enough for now. What was the comment? It's Saturday, what you doing? Hey, Ellieface. We are writing some database code here. Let's update. It's going to prepare an update script here for me. So it's going to create the widgets table for me. So I can generate the script and actually save it out to disk. That's nice for Visual Studio to do. But if I'm not using Visual Studio, and I did just update that database directly, so I have now a table in the database. I can now generate, I can scaffold that table for me. So Ellieface, yeah, we're writing some code. It's Saturday morning, that's what we do here. That's funny, I don't have the TwitchCon bits coming through on here. This isn't Saturday morning cartoons. No comprende. Oh. So if you don't watch, Ellieface is another Philly area streamer. And She, along with Chef Brent, they maintain a great show on Monday evenings called Cooking with Heat. And they bring cameras into their kitchen, and they show you how to cook some pretty cool stuff. Great to see you, Alley Face. I hope you're feeling better. I know you were not doing too well over the last week. After coming back from Camp Schoolie, all the Philly area streamers went to Alabama for the week of Independence Day, July 4th. That was funny to see the streams coming from Alabama. Is it me, or can you not say Alabama without kind of falling into a slight southern accent? Alabama. Alabama. Greenbow, Alabama. Let's get back into the code. So great. Thanks for tuning in, LAFace. I appreciate you joining us. So we can scaffold now, right? So Hot Diggity Dog was pointing out. Typically, what you'll see folks do is they'll build code first. They'll write the C# code for their database objects, right? And then they'll generate the database. But you can write the stuff in the database and scaffold, build the class for this. It's just me. Oh, I see. Thanks for the shout out. I've been sick for 3 weeks. Last week took a toll. Yeah, I bet. So if I go back over here, I can actually do, if I say .NET EF, right? So there's database, DBContext, and migrations. If I remember correctly, if we say .NET EF database, we have the option to drop the database. I don't want to do that. And we can update to a specific migration. The other one that you see us use is migrations, and this one, we can actually generate that SQL script based on the migrations, or, where is it? There is a way to scaffold. Why don't I see the scaffolding? I thought scaffold was sitting right here as a command. Right? Was it there under database and I missed it? No. What am I thinking here? Add list script. So if you say add a migration for new database objects, it'll generate it. Is it under DBContext? Let me go back to that one. Ah, there it is. Thank you. Scaffold a DBContext and entity types for a database. So we've already got it sitting there. Yeah, there it was. I grabbed the wrong one. I thought it was under migrations. So we can say scaffold. And, oh, I'm in the wrong folder. And now it'll actually generate an object for me. Why aren't you giving me the help statement here there, friend? There we go. So here's all the things that we can use to actually build out that database context appropriately for us. And you can actually tell it to update the existing database context. Now, the connection string to the database, I thought it would use exactly what we have here. Still using the package manager approach. What do you mean? What do you mean, Janos? Shoot. I thought there was a way to, let's copy this, run back over to the docs. I thought there was a way to point it at a specific, there it is, right, to get it to regenerate directly from there. Now that's in the CLI. We'll use the default connection string scaffold DB context instead of command line. You're in the PowerShell doing that. No, I want to be in the docs. Don't tell me it's not in the docs. If you're using Visual Studio, we recommend the PMC tools instead. Okay, I don't like the use of this acronym here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But where did it go? So .NET EF database update, where is it? Go back, find this. No. That one. From the package manager window, right. Okay, for your approach, okay. The fact that it's not pointing directly at right, that it's not using the database. No, it's not doing it. It comes back with an error for the connection. See that? Which is going to feel really weird to have to copy out my connection string. I thought it would pick up what the connection string was and use that. Right, if I have to give it that information, that's awful. Yeah, you better believe that isn't going to work. If you specify the DB context, you don't need to specify the connection strings. Let's give that a shot. DB context is -C. Application DB context. Nope, doesn't like it. Right, it's right there. Application DB context didn't like it. So let me go back to that. And it also doesn't like the provider missing. This has changed a little bit since the last time I used it. And it feels really unfriendly. Framework configuration runtime. I mean, and it should run with the current project. In which case it should just do it. Nope, it wants the provider. And I bet you there's no there's no sample showing how to use it. Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, that's a pain in the neck. Server was not found or was not accessible. Specified local DB instance name is invalid. Configured to allow remote connections. I'm not remote. Yeah, that's a good idea. Have it saved in a notepad. You should be able to do this. This should be very... Scaffolding builds out a new context. You have to provide all of the correct information. Yeah, I've provided all the correct information. I thought. Alright, so let's try it in the package management console. See if that does any different. So the Package Manager console in Visual Studio, this is a PowerShell command line that's embedded. No, that's the wrong database connection. It's not going to work. Yeah. Let me grab my database. Replace that, and I know that's tiny down there. But that should run. Holy crap. The server was not found or was not accessible. Are you kidding? It's right there. Select star from widgets. Sure works to me. Oh, you know what? You know what? I see the problem. I see the problem. There's a double slash there. There it is. There's a double slash there. That's what the problem was. So, let me go back. Right, so now it has generated and placed. Yeah, look at it. It created all those models for me from that migration and the widgets class. Right? Great. This is, you know, exactly the kind of thing that I was looking for. And it even created its own context here. Not terrible. You're following 2 football matches, Wimbledon, and this stream. That's impressive. Yeah, you do need the connection string and the provider. It's interesting that you do need to provide those even though they're in the project. It'd be great if we could pick it up from the project and say, well, they're already there. Just go update these things. Which I thought we could do. Let me delete these. And I'm going to go back to our command line where we know that. Let's see what that does. Don't forget to remove migration. I forgot. Did it actually write a migration into the database? So it keeps this migration history, and we're good there. It only has the one, and it didn't create an additional migration for us, right? You don't have to create migrations if there's entries in the database table. You're trying to blog as you're watching me. That's impressive. That's pretty impressive. All right. Now, why does it say there are 10 new files? We just deleted those. Oh, now they're over here. Because I didn't specify an output folder. So, interesting that, right, when you scaffold, it builds out everything that's in the database. It doesn't migrate. So, something that I haven't done in a while that feels like you want to get from one side to the other. You either want to be scaffolding at the end, and here's all my database objects, and then you maintain the state of your database, or you do code first, and you maintain those migrations. What's the one file? Global JSON. I'm okay with that. So, let me go back to the database. Let me delete the widgets table. No, just update the database and get rid of it. Thank you. So, right, if I was maintaining the database and I was doing database first, I would have clicked generate script there and saved off those scripts, have them available so that I could replay those for other folks in other environments. This is the opposite of code first migrations. Yes, you had a database already and used EF to scaffold models and a database context in a new project. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. But I do want to stay focused on code first. So I do have my objects, my tables here in the database, and I'm going to start to add, let me add a widgets model here. Right, so class, that's fine. Widgets, right, and it probably should be just widget. Funny, it didn't rename the file either. Alright, so write a widget class. Just have an ID, name, price in dollars. Okay. I want to make sure it gets into the database, so we add it as a DB set of type widget. No widget. Thank you. We're going to need to make that public, and we will call these widgets. Okay. The Ret Wolf. Hey Fritz, do you know when EF Core will be adding a provider for the Document DB API in Cosmos? The docs say they're working on it, but there's no timeline given. Yeah, there's a funny thing that happens with Entity Framework. The Entity Framework team is quickly pushed off onto other projects. Oh, you know what? This is the constructor. Move it out of there. Okay. They're quickly pushed onto other projects, so they don't want to overcommit to something because they don't want to be distracted. They're also the target of security issues quite frequently. So they want to make sure they address those in testing before anything gets deployed. All right. Seriously, why haven't we seen any of our events? New events popping up here. Not that. My alerts. We should have seen some alerts pop up here. And yeah, the event list. That's interesting. It's not showing the hosting at all there. All right. Moving on. Oh, Ellie face left. Bummer. Anyways. So we've created our widgets object here, and we should create that database migration, right? So .NET EF migrations add widgets. So it builds the data, builds the project, and it's going to identify. Yep, here's what we've got. No type specified for the decimal column on widget. Yes, we did. It's right there. This will cause values will be silently truncated if they do not fit in the default precision and scale. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, so they're looking for the decimal precision. That's fine. So it added this extra migration here, and we should check this in. This should get into our source control, right? So if we look, there's a bunch of files it created and changed for us here, right? Because we added the widgets file. Let's add everything. Okay. added widgets. Now, I've done this in the master branch. So now everybody has access to the master branch. Now, the question, the challenge that was brought up by our viewer here, Stap, is, well, what happens when we start having to maintain changes across branches? So let's start branching. So I will call this feature 1. I don't know what it is. And let's say we're over here and we say, you know what? Yeah, we need on our widgets table, we need a new feature, I don't know. We want to actually put a nice description with our widgets, and we also want to put a image URL with them as well, right? Do you think programmers can have decent views on Twitch, or shall we have to shift to another platform, asks Captain Jug. YouTube now pays awfully less due to change in their policies. Captain Jug, I'm guessing that you're a programming streamer as well here on Twitch. It's coming. I think what we're seeing is a change in the approach that folks have with programming here on Twitch. If you tune into my friend Suze Hinton, who typically broadcasts Sunday mornings 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, she gets about 200 folks tuning in to watch her. If you check out, we have a friend, Serpent AI, who broadcasts in the afternoons on the weekends. That's Nicholas, and what he's working on is he's building an AI. He's building artificial intelligence to beat video games. And in the middle of the afternoon, he's gotten upwards to 500 people watching him at a time. I didn't do any marketing. I didn't do any promotion of today's stream. I'm sitting at about 55 viewers right now. But on Saturdays, I have gotten that number up into the low 100s. Long-form workshops like the one that I'm hosting this Friday, and we need to start promoting that. That number will get up close to 200 throughout the day. It's coming. It's a shift. It's coming. And it's a question of showing popular content that folks are interested in. Right, there folks that are doing programming and they just crack open Visual Studio or a code editor, and they're just writing code and they're not. I'm explaining a lot going on here. I see this more as a teaching stream than as actually accomplishing something. We're accomplishing something along the way. It is taking a long time to do, but we're focused primarily on teaching, sharing, learning, and that's okay. That's what we're trying to do. Maybe there comes a time where, you know what, we will go with a more higher-paced, less instructional day of learning, day of streaming, where we are focusing on just getting something done and not talking through things as much. I do have a decent number of subscribers here. It's not going to make a living on it, but it's nice. I do donate those subscription fees, but I think you're going to see it growing. Twitch doesn't promote programming streamers, doesn't promote creative streamers too much. When our friend Fierce Kittens, who does program, and she's also a crafting streamer, when she was promoted on the front page of Twitch a few weeks ago, she saw a couple thousand people in her chat room, watching her those evenings, and she got a number of subscriptions. She got a lot of bits cheered. She got a lot of followers. That's great. That's a good move for her. I had a meeting with some folks at Twitch this week. There are folks there that understand that there is more content that needs to be promoted than just games. and games is pulling in huge numbers for them, right? The PUBG event yesterday, they had more than 100,000 people watching that. There's some cable channels here in the States that would kill for that type of viewership. It's coming. We're going to see those promotions coming soon. Other services, YouTube Live, YouTube doesn't care about what type of content you present. And they're not going to promote you either. They don't have a promotion mechanism like Twitch or Mixer. Mixer is focused also on games right now. And they're playing catch up. But right now, I would suggest there is a lot of cross-promotion among creatives. You're going to see me raid another programming streamer here at the end of today. Oh, thank you, Desert Griffin. I appreciate that you enjoy how I describe things here, even if sometimes I have to go back and say, wait a sec, that didn't work the way I thought. Programming to win, absolutely. So Captain Jug, I think it's coming. I think it's a long effort to get where we want to be. It's taken me 8 months to get to 2,700 followers. And if we get to 5,000 by November, I'm going to dye my beard rainbow. So tell your friends to come on over and check us out. I stream 4 days a week. I could stream every day of the week. I think I'm pretty close to saying, yes, I need to stream every day of the week. Vlog Life Dude, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Good morning, Steve. We haven't seen you yet. I started with the Blazer show, and since then it's been awesome when I catch it. Oh, thank you, Janos. I have a request out to some of the folks on the Blazer team, and we are going to get them to join us in a future show here. But I've got some great guests that are going to come on and pair program with us. Rocky Lotka is going to join us this week. We're going to have later on in the week Jimmy Bogard, Miguel Castro, Julie Lerman. Right? If you're in the .NET environment, you know these folks. They're authors. They're speakers at various events. You've seen them on podcasts, and they talk about various technologies. Well, here we're going to be doing code with them. Rocky talks about some great stuff he's done with CSLA architecture and stuff. He's actually going to get a chance to show us, and you're going to have a chance to ask him questions about that live right here. So it's really cool stuff. Topic have a typo in entity framework. What is entity frame woke? Oh no. Did I? Is the topic wrong? Oh, it is. It's right there. Let's fix that. Is that Tian Valois? Thank you for the follow. I know I butchered that name. Drop me a line and let me know how to make that. Would like to see Mads on creating Visual Studio extensions. That's a great idea. And I've talked to Mads about doing that, and we just haven't settled on a good extension to work on together. Yeah, I think it's almost time to reach out and talk to Mads. Guests are fine, but I come here for the Fritz. Oh, thank you, Joe Bond. That's great. I appreciate that. Mads is oof. He's out of office? Mads Christensen? Okay. Grilled Walk is nice. Back August 11th. Is he? I'm not going to look up his schedule. I read it somewhere. There's a wide mix of software development streams. Some that lean more towards social aspects of streaming. Yes. Some that just you look over the shoulder of the developer while they're working with minimal interaction. You're right, Arts Plunge. You're absolutely right. And what I want to make sure I bring to you is an opportunity to ask questions, an opportunity to interact and influence. Let's grow something together. Let's do something cool together. And that's what I think we're doing here. So let me get back into this entity framework bit a little. There you go. See, now I've got the title update out there. So I'm in a different feature. I'm in my feature 1 branch, and I added these other features for description and image URL. Is the auto just varying for me? Anyone else? Let me know. everything has been very stable. Looking at my stuff here. Feeling inspired, might try this Twitch thing too. There's... go for it. I am more than happy to cross-promote and encourage other streamers. We have a Visual Studio stream, and it should be hosting me right now. If you go over to twitch.tv/Visual Studio. Belgium's leading the World Cup bronze game. Cool. It's me moving back and forth away from the microphone at the moment. There it is. Okay. So there's a thing there. When I move it away from me, I move it back, and then over the other way. So, yeah, I try and enjoy the medium of radio and make it really nice with radio voice right on top of this thing. So, that's probably that. All right. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to. But let me know what you get into, Janos. If that's something that, if streaming is something that you're interested in, absolutely. You know, drop me a line, drop me a whisper. I have a couple blog posts out there on my blog about this, about streaming, how I got set up. Suze Hinton has a nice blog about a year in and how the things that she's learned. Give it a try. But getting into streaming is something that you need to do regularly. Otherwise, folks won't keep up with you. More interested in reaching all I can reach in the community. Yes, and that's why I'm on Twitch, because of the large audience size here. So let me get back into the code here. So we added these couple extra fields. We would generate a migration to add those, right? So let's call this widget description. So now we'll get this migration for that widget description change. Great content today. Have to do family things? Go Fusion. Catch you later there, hot diggity dog. That's my good friend Julio. And we were actually, now before you run, we were saying last night it would be so cool if we did a shoutcast of the next Fusion match, because there's just something really cool there that we were having a great time commenting on. Is that something folks will be interested in seeing here on Twitch? Let me know. I think it might be fun. Loudness equalization enabled. Oh, all right. Are you saying I'm too loud? All right, so now it's created this widget description field here. Very exciting. Yeah, I think so. So this migration, right, has description, and it has the image URL here, and it's adding these fields appropriately. So if I commit these into, right, I have to add the files first, right? Added widget description. But if I'm over in another feature branch, right, if I'm over in feature 2, and over here I have a different set of migrations, and I'm not at the same level. I may actually have a different, and I should probably have a different database connection string here for this, because I'm in a different database. Okay. This should create the database for me. That different database name. There it goes. And actually, let me go back to feature 1. I never updated the database. All right. So now I should have 2 databases here to kind of simulate the difference between, right, here's the first one, And it has a... Where's my widgets table? It should have created the widgets table. No, I didn't update the database yet. Oh, you know what? Hang on, let's drop this. Save that. Run that again. Why isn't Visual Studio recognizing source control for the project? Add the source control showing on the bottom status bar. Down here. Because I don't have, and go away, Karnak. I don't have a remote added yet. This is all local. It's because I don't have a remote configured. Yep, I didn't shelve the new connection string. You're right, Janos. That's exactly what I did. So if I refresh my tables here, right, so this one, tables, there's widgets. All right, and that has the new structure with description and image. Cool. All right, so now let me go back over to the other feature. Okay, and over here, let me change that connection string to, once again, simulate that I'm on somebody else's machine, somebody else, somewhere else in the world, right? Now if I do, did I save that? Yes. .NET EF database update. Yep, different database. I deleted the other database. And there it goes. So now I should have... That's kind of annoying that I have to click refresh and it rebuilds this whole thing. So there's this, and here's my widgets, and it only has the name and price. So now if I'm over here and I have, if I'm adding some other feature, right? So the other person added description and an image URL. Well, if I'm in a group that says, you know what, we need to make sure that we have the weight in grams, right? American pricing, but weight in grams instead of in ounces. Whatever. And I do a .NET EF migrations add widget weight. You worked in local source control without a remote all the time when I started. Branches still showed up in Visual Studio. If I look at Team Explorer, right, so these are connections to external repositories. Not sure why it's not showing. Oh wait, that's SQL. Yeah, why isn't it showing the fact that I'm in Git here and a local version of Git? How's the current status of L2 cache on EF Core? I don't know the answer to that. Might have to reload the solution. Okay, let's do that. So I'm just going to close and reload the solution. That's fine. Go ahead, save. And we'll reload. There we go. Now it has those, and now it has me on the branch down here. That's strange. And it shows me I'm... All right. How will EF work with Cosmos DB? Any plans for showing that? I haven't worked with EF and Cosmos DB together, but that is something that they are working on. That's a feature that's currently in flight that they're building. So I've got these two different branches. Found bug in Visual Studio. Create Git repo outside the solution while it's open. VS won't see the repo. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Janos. You can create that issue if you want to log it on the Visual Studio. Where is it? There's a forums. Not support policies. Where is it? No. Where's the forum? No. Oh, here we go. Community and submit an idea. So this is a user voice. User voice. But if you go here, community, report a problem, feedback. And in Visual Studio, you can do this as well. Send feedback. And it actually jumps you into the same place, if I remember. Yep, developer community. It's the same as this. So you can key it in here, and yeah, the team will follow up with you. This literally goes directly to the project team. So, and if you want to provide a link, if you want to provide a reference to this, we are about let's call it we are an hour 14 in, so let's call it at an hour 13 we discussed this. So, yep, with the stream link. So, anyway, so this person in feature branch 2 added the weight in grams to the widget object and updated their database. Actually, we didn't update the database. EF database update. We created the migration, and we can, there we go, we applied it to our database. And if we do a, not .NET, git add, git, not got, git commit, added widget weight. Okay, so now when the time comes that we actually need to merge up into our master branch, we need to make sure that we handle both of those appropriately. And the thing is, migrations should do that for us. So let's go over to our master branch. Do it. There we go. Right, if we just do a straight merge of, let's do feature 2 first. It merged it in. If we look at our project, the widget's unchanged, right? We've received exactly what was changed there, and you can see the widget column is added here. Now, if we merge feature 1, conflict in the widget, but everything else merged properly. The conflict is here in the widget class because we've got two different sets of fields and we actually want all of them. And that's okay, because we're adding columns. They all should work. Merged feature 1. And then if I do right, my app settings should be, let me go back to the other name for the database. Let's go back to this one. Now if I do .NET EF database update, it should apply all of the changes. Applying migration widget weight. And now if I look in this database at the widgets table, it's got the weight in grams, the image, the description, and the price. If we go back to right? And I'm just going to cheat and rename my database connection string here. So if I was over on Mr. Feature 2, my Feature 2 person's branch, and we did the same thing there, .NET EF database update, it's going to apply that same missing migration. And it's got all the fields now. Now, they're not exactly in the same order, and that's okay. That's okay. But you've got the exact same representation in both places. So, keeping those migrations in check and merging as soon as possible, particularly with database changes, is going to be important to success. But if you keep those migrations around and you keep them proper, you shouldn't run into too many problems. Where you may run into a challenge is when you do alter columns and the ordering of those changes. But that goes back to, once again, when you're working in source control and you have people working in multiple branches, merge as quickly as possible, because the longer that a branch stays forked from the shared code, the harder it's going to be to merge back in. You will run into problems if you keep a copy of your database forked differently on a different branch for months at a time, and then when you go to merge back in, you're going to have problems. So keep updating that on a regular basis, and you'll minimize the impact, the problems that you'll hit with that merge. So that's all I wanted to talk about with migrations here. It's like any other merge, you can get conflicts. Yep. If you break up the work correctly and merge often, you won't have problems. Absolutely. But I think what we showed here was it's pretty easy to separate those features into separate branches and merge nicely and get it to update all databases at the same time. So I'm going to close a couple of these. I'm not going to close that LightDB yet. Let me close this solution. I'm going to go over to CoreWiki. And I'm going to mark this as answered on the July 14th stream. All right. Cool. So thanks so much for the question. Glad we could go through it. After moving models and application, we did this. We got this working. So that's from Open Window. I'm going to go over to our CoreWiki project and 2 pull requests out here. Let's upgrade Bootstrap. This makes sense. Thank you, Smab, for following up on this and keeping tabs on Bootstrap for us. What files changed? Hide the white space changes. Let's see exactly what files changed. So instead of 410, 412, changing the SHA appropriately to point to the new version. Most problems occur when the database is shared between branches. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Package JSON referencing the current version. Site theme referencing the current version. Okay. Taking dialog out. Font family change. Monospace was listed in there twice? That's weird. Okay. I don't see anything here that's gonna ruffle any feathers. And this is actually all in our local copy, isn't it? For the site theme. So that shouldn't... I'm not seeing anything that'll change the theme significantly. Transition with a custom... Custom select with a transition. All right, whatever. The dark theme. Okay. I'm guessing there's nothing significant here. It's just a touch up to make sure it works with Bootstrap. Cool. All right, let's merge that. Yep. Those theme files are the compiled with 412 changes, so can be ignored. Cool. Thanks for the update to the latest Bootstrap. All right. Want the link to the issue? No, I don't need the link. Have you already done the architecture workshop? When will it be? Where can I watch? Random guy. We're going to be doing that workshop on Friday this week. Friday the 20th. More details I hope to post on Monday with schedule and a list of all of our guests. So, yeah, a couple of folks said, yes, absolutely, I'm in. And then they went dark on me. It's like, what happened there? All right, so yeah, Janos, I don't think I'd need the link to that. So sometimes after developing a project for a long time and having hundreds of migrations, ouch, I find it easier to delete all migrations starting fresh with a new initial, since not too many reasons to track every change that was made to the database. You're onto something there, EM Triple. I think there's something to be said for some sort of a EF database migrations rebase, so that we can take all of the different migrations and kind of get them into one file, squish them. Yes, yes. Glad you pushed the workshop back a week, as it means I can catch the start of it live now. All right, there you go. And now we're not conflicting with World Cup. No, we wouldn't have conflicted with it anyway. I want to take a quick peek at issues here. Nothing significantly new. Yeah, I think we're okay. What I'd like to talk about is this concept of a first start wizard. So, our core wiki project, for those of you that haven't seen this, it's intended to be a simple content management system, and it's been growing. It uses just a few Razor pages to present content, and what we're running into for folks that are downloading a copy of it, want to deploy their own very simple wiki, is that they are the database gets rebuilt each time that we make changes to the database structure, because it's a SQLite database. Now that change should go away as we introduce other database providers. I'm thinking LightDB might be a nice candidate for one. Certainly things like Cosmos DB are in the in our sights for something to be able to target with this. MongoDB as well. SQL Server feels like a natural here. But the idea is the same. We want to be able to have some sort of a first startup experience that allows you to define some of these application settings up front, including database provider. Choose a database provider and not have to worry about migrating all of this nonsense back and forth. Yeah, as developers on the project, excuse me, the database migrations with SQLite have been a little painful. One approach that helped us keeping different areas of the app in different contexts, which all have their own migrations. That's an interesting point there as well, Janos. You don't have to have just one database context in your application when you're working with Entity Framework. To back up just a few seconds. When working with Entity Framework, you can have multiple contexts in your project. The challenge is, if you have objects that relate across context to each other, it gets a little bit dicey to maintain. It's doable. Better for security. So you'll see in CoreWiki we actually have our security in a separate database context than the rest of our application contents. That way, just like Janos is suggesting, we can move security into a different location and have that a little bit more tightly protected. So, more coffee. Need more coffee. All right. So what I'd like to look at briefly here is, what does a first start wizard look like for this? Yeah, microservices is another good approach there, Janescu. It's the idea of a first start wizard is going to be something that's going to generate, and let me get rid of that. Put down our initial set of configuration here, and also presumably write out some files for configuration. So let's check out. Let's create a project called First Start. And this way we can minimize some of the default data that we have configured and allow that to be built on the fly so that hopefully we aren't migrating as much. And I hope we're at a point with our database structure that we're not going to be applying too many more migrations and clobbering people here. I hope. What do you think, team? So let's go back into Visual Studio now. Go away. I didn't know there was that window. Go away. And I don't need SQL Server Object Explorer because we're running in SQLite. We're running in SQLite. Overkill to also have command line config for those settings for remote script installs. Great idea, Janos. I like that. No, I don't want to column. I want to add a card. I want to create a new card. No. No. Do I have to create an issue first? I have to create an issue first before I can move it in here, don't I? Well, that feels bad. Where did the project go? It's not here anymore. Too many secrets. First start configuration from the command line. Any configuration? Wow. Any configuration provided through the first start wizard should also be possible from the command line. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. I'm going to label this as an enhancement. I'll mark it as help wanted in case anybody wants to take a shot at working on this. And I'm going to add it. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, are you kidding? Hey, GitHub, we need to talk. There it is. All right. A question I often ask myself, where did the project go? Yes. Config environment variables command? Maybe. Yeah, I didn't want to add a note to the board. I wanted to create an issue. You could also use user secrets for developers. Yes. Yes. If I'm following you, you're wanting to see if some kind of flag, possibly a property of app settings, that is true for run the seed migrations and false if it has been run and don't want to again. I think that's a start. I think that's one aspect of this. That's a that's one part of this. I think there's also a part where we may want to put down the name of the wiki and some other configuration, application configurations options. I normally have a first start section in the configuration settings and having that be run first time. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's something to that. First start section in the configuration settings. That's not bad. And this one here, first database user is not an administrator. Right, this is right when we first launch the application and we create that first user, we should create a first user by default. Either assign a default password or allow you to define who that is. I think it makes sense to allow the user to define who that is and create an administrator as well. The first user who registers doesn't get added to the administrator role. Right. Control-Shift-T to open recently closed tab in Chrome and Firefox. Did not know that. Learned something new. Thank you. My name isn't Adam. Is your name actually Steve? Billy? Frank? Let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to call you Adam. My name isn't Adam. The flag could be as simple as the presence of a file in the app folder. Yes. Oh, thank you for the follow. My name isn't Adam. Maybe it's Sarah. It could be. Adam X. Now, let's not pick on Adam. But thank you for joining us. Okay. Minecraft server end user license experience. Very much like that, yes. Yeah. So the idea of a first start wizard here, I think we're breaking down some of these things here. Let's click into this. The first user should be configurable. Yeah, should be configurable, and we should reset the ownership of the seed articles to that user. If file present, then don't do first run kind of thing. Yep. Oh, Belgium took a 2-0 lead. Look at that. Easy to keep out of the app and not dependent on a database. Yes. Yes, yes. I completely agree. Right, so what we're saying is you could effectively just touch a file on disk. You know, if the file is present, don't build the database. Yeah. Bang your head against the... I'm sorry, Smap. The English team's literally fallen apart. They haven't scored since the beginning of that game against the Croatians. I know that feeling all too well. Not sure why I'm getting red underlines here. Did I put a space in something? Oops. Okay. So if we wanted to introduce this startup wizard, there's a whole configuration thing that we're going to need both on the command line and inside the web application, so it knows how to start up, so it knows those bits to run. And I'm tempted to move all that stuff into a Razor class library that could be referenced both by a command line tool and by the web application. That'll be fun. They were looking like they might equalize until that goal happened. Oh, that's a shame. Inject configuration. Yes, Janos. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. It's delightful.
It can be done exactly how I want it.
It will be.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
You're darn right I am. Maliga999, thank you for the follow. I do need to put that follower goal bar back in the user interface, don't I? So that people know we're trying to get towards the Rainbow Beard Challenge. Every time I say that, it feels weird. Right? Localhost 8000. Localhost 8000. This is from the Stream Tools, and we actually have a way to configure our follower goal. Right? Configuration. There's the documentation. And Rainbow Beard Challenge. Yeah. Come on. Show me my Google fonts. Show me the fonts. Show me the fonts. Fine, I'll just choose Arial for now. The goal is 5, not 50,000. The current value for testing, 2772. That's fine. Fill bar colors. Now, Comic Sans. That's just rude. Before that goal, another counterattack was close, but Belgium made a game saver there. Weird assembly configuration and notifications project that meant I couldn't compile when working on updates. All right, we'll take a look at that in just a second here. Let's get a little weird. Into orange. Into yellow. Into green. Into blue, yeah, into, let's end with purple. And I've even got these cool things here. That's fine. Yeah, that works. So I could embed this URL, and we would get the cool Rainbow Beard Challenge bar. Romanian Rainbow acronym. Roy G. Biv, yeah. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and no indigo, but violet, yeah. Where would I put this right now, though? The Rainbow Beard Challenge. And it's so wide. I would need it smaller. Right now that's gigantic. But if I wanted to make this, say, 400 wide, right? I'm kind of Swobbler. What? She walks like a bearded rainbow. Can I make this 600? There we go. That's a little bit better. I think 700's got to be the thing. Right, it kind of, right, we'll get into the blue and then eventually the purple down the end here. Rainbow Bear Challenge? No! No! No rainbow bears. We're going to do Rainbow Beard. Vertical aligned. Turn it the other way. Make it go down the side. That'd be weird. Where would I put it? Where would I put it? because it's designed to go up top here. That's where it was designed to originally go. I feel like I could put it down here at the bottom somewhere. Unseen NRG, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. I feel like I've also got a lot of crap here on the screen too. Need a way to push the current followers from the center a bit to the right. This here. Well, it's not bad. Rainbow Bright, that's what my beard will look like if we hit 5,000 by the middle of October. Absolutely. Hey, Unseen. Welcome. NRG. Are you on the NRG team? Esports team? I don't know. Or maybe you work for NRG? Or, I don't know. Let me know. Rainbow Bright. Yep. Oktoberfest. Yeah. Well, on the other side of Oktoberfest, right? Alright, so what is this you're saying about the weird... There's a send grid here that needs to get him some My Little Pony emotes. That's just wrong. No. Movember. Well, that's... See how that works? So then we'll lose the beard after it's all rainbowed out, and then we'll grow it back in through November, just in time for Ubuntu? No, we were going to do Ubuntu in October. Ubuntober? No esports or energy company, just NRG. All right. No affiliation to NRG. Ubuntu, Red Hat Timber? No. We are going to do Linux in the fall. I'm not sure why this send grid is showing up funny like that. Found conflicts between different versions of abstractions and features. Is this what you're talking about? That chalupa right there? Doesn't look terrible. NRJ. Let's clean the solution and try rebuilding. Come on. Good. Come on. Gen 2 Sember. That's a little old school there. Remember the guy with the rainbow wig that used to be in the background of lots of sporting events? Yes. Twitch says EF Core. We did EF Core. We did EF Core for about an hour and a half. We went through that. And we're jumping Soul Rev Dev into... yeah, you missed a bit of that. That's okay, though. We're jumping into talking about setting up a startup wizard now for our core wiki project. So is this what you're talking about here in the notifications? Found conflicts between versions of HTTP abstractions and features. So back and forth. I mean, we're only referencing extensions here. Why is it referencing hosting abstractions as an assembly? I don't want it referencing it like that. That feels bad. And oh, that delete key is right next to my backspace key. Let's move that up into here somewhere. Yeah. Package reference include Microsoft. Wasn't it hosting abstractions? Let me do a lookup on that. See if we can get this fixed real quick. Hosting abstractions. There it is. No, that's not it. That's it. Could be that one project is 2.1 and another is 2.1.1. No. It was the direct reference to the DLL. We've now assimilated everything there is to know about EF Core. Yes. And now...
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
About EF Core.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
No, just in the last hour and a half. There we go. That one. Right, that's better, and that'll iron that out. Let me go back to dev. Commit that change. Fixed reference to hosting abstractions in notifications. Cool. Sorry about that. Next stop, taking over Starfleet. Yes. Belgium won the bronze. Oh, I'm sorry. And to our Belgian friends, there are a couple Belgians watching. Congratulations. I have to pull in those changes. And now we can push. Yes. Yes. Good. Good. Alright, let's go back to our feature. And I should merge that, right? Alright. Go away. Thank you. Where was I? Oh yes, we're going to create a first start configuration project to start pitching some of this stuff into, push it out into GitHub so that there's a place for folks to start talking and thinking about these features. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to add a new project, and I don't know everything that's going to go into this project yet. I'm going to call this Core Wiki First Start, and this is a Razor class library that we're going to create. Let's just call it First Start. Razor class library. All right. No one ever does. No one ever... What? Instead of calling this my feature, let's call this First Start. And there's our page. We will rename this page because I don't like the name page 1. To index. Which means we also need to change this to index. Is Razor class library a recent thing? Yes. You said you do not know will go into that project. No one will ever know at the start. We'll figure out what goes into this. Yes. It is a 2.1 thing. And what it is a way for us to wrap up our a segment of user interface that's going to appear as an area in our project, put it out into a DLL somewhere so that it can be included and reused. And by putting it all over here, I'm doing several things. I'm isolating it from the rest of the project so that it is something a little bit, for the purposes of managing this distinct project from the rest of CoreWiki, it'll be easier to manage source control wise. It also becomes something that we'll be able to reference and put other interaction items into for managing the startup, and from a command line we'll be able to put all of that logic into this project and then have a command line project that is able to call into those things to start up. Is that Thierry Henry you're referencing, Janescu? Think Swagger example from the old times. I'm not familiar with that example. All right. Damn it, out of coffee. Bad things happen when you're out of coffee. Yeah, Thierry Henry. All right. Well, congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Belgians. There you go. Yes. Well done, Belgium. Well done. Now, go away. The big boys are going to play tomorrow in... they're in Moscow, right? MVC or Razor pages with web API controllers. I don't think we have any API controllers here yet. Not yet. But this is Razor pages primarily that we're using. So, what kinds of things do we want to build, do we need to manage during first startup? Now, since we're using SQLite as our database, that's kind of annoying. It's going to be a pain in the neck. We're going to be writing that file for the first time. We're going to need to add a reference. Listen to me, getting all Philly. We're going to need to add a reference. We're going to need our core and our data objects here so that we can start to reference our database objects, and so that we can also start to reference our configuration, right? And I think our configuration, looking at this, I'm already looking at the project, at the application here, and thinking we're running into project creep, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects, and then the test project at the end. But I think we've got good justification for these. What are the features that we're going to need to configure the first time? Obviously, the one that we're landing on first here is who's that first user? Who's the right when you first configure the application, you're going to have an administrator user that you need to define, right? That super user, that rats. I don't have it here. I have the Superman theme, and I don't have it on my console here. Nuts. That just feels bad. But who's that first user you're going to create? What's their password? And let's give them control over all of the objects in our project, in our content management system. So, let's do it. Let's start defining that first interaction, right? So, I feel like I want to get rid of this because I want a view start. Right, let me add a view start. Where is it? ASP.NET Core. Are you kidding? Where is it? Razor view start. Yep, layout. I don't think we ever finished with the authorization policy stuff. No, we didn't. There's a lot more that we can do there. But right now we just have an administrator, and there's some workflow stuff that we can do there. I want to kick off and get people thinking about this if they'd like to participate in this, because it looks like Ashley has some ideas of where to go to configure and get this built out. And like I said, we also had this question from our friend Amanda Iverson about how do you configure, how do you seed that first user in the database. So I can remove this, and then we can start thinking about need to collect the first admin user's information. Now, right, the challenge with scaffolding that first user is all of our identity data stuff is hiding actually over here for security, including our user. Something like this bootstrap wizard would be nice. What a redirect middleware that if the app was not installed, send the user to the wizard page. Ooh. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let me grab this this wizard reference that Joban has. Yeah, that's nice. Right, here's the different steps that you're going to go through to set up, and then here's the configuration information. Yeah. That's kind of cool. I'm just saying that we have a super user policy role to reference when developing the creation of a super user type. I think I'm using the term super user slightly different from... I'm using that when I may also mean an administrator, right? The first administrator. That user 0 for bootstrapping purposes. That's a great term for it, Janescu. Yes. Yes, yes. But so the problem we're going to run into is CoreWiki has the user stuff here. And right, the pages that we've customized, my authorization policy here as well, along with, right, some of the direction we want to go with authorization, as well as that identity hosting startup information. So if we're creating users, it feels like we need to break up this default configuration here. Certainly, the pages can stay where they are. Even authorization policy, I think, can stay where it is. But I think the data piece needs to be moving somewhere else. Layout is flawed in Firefox. No, I think it looks fine. What's it look like in Chrome? Chrome. That's not going to work. No, it looks fine. It looks fine. We're good. A good onboarding experience and thought around blank slate is always nice to see in a project. Line through the steps. Oh, well, I didn't see it. Well, I got issues on HDR device on recent RS5 builds with HDR video as screen got flickery. The architect. Yes, I am the architect. You can manage users and data elsewhere as well as in the identity area. Yes. That's SMAB, that's exactly what I'm thinking we should do. We should move our users and identity context and migrations for identity here into a separate project that we'll be able to reference and use here. Is it in the same data project? I don't know. Would make sense to put it in the same. Did not understand this. Think setting first time a widget. Yeah, wait. Get back to me on that. So I think I want to do that in the dev branches, move these into our data project. Even though they don't have... Wait a sec. These interfaces still need to move into the core project, right? I thought I already moved... Yeah, I didn't move these interfaces up here yet. That'll happen. But I think we want to put a security branch in here, and I think also this data folder will go away. But I think we create a security branch in here, and we move in basically these three items here. Wouldn't working so much with authentication be kind of a waste when introducing Identity Server 4? From poor experience, it's not all that easily mapped. I haven't worked with Identity Server. Let's start there. I have spoken to Brock about, and Michelle actually, about having them come on stream and show implementing Identity Server. I don't know. You know what? I'm not thinking about that part just yet. You know, I think that's something that we can cross when we talk about implementing those features. Okay. For the Stream Tools project, the login user can customize the widget with custom art, what they want for, and so on. Right. Documentation is not all that helpful. Yeah, I think we need to reach out to Brock and Michelle and ask them to join us. That'd be fun. Brock, Michelle, Dominic, there's a whole group of people over there that would be amazing to have join us. All right. We're going a little bit long today, and that's okay. I've got time. So I'm going to flip projects here. Flip branches. What the? Yeah, over here. Let me go back into the dev branch. And let's do this little bit of migration of pulling the data over. What? Oh, shoot. Yeah, let me add that. Started first start project. Okay. Cool. Now, yeah, let's grab this identity stuff and move. Barack and Michelle, not Barack, Brock. What does the boss say about going over time? The boss, Mrs. Fritz, she doesn't care. She's not here today. The other boss, of course, you mean Bruce Springsteen. No. My bosses, doesn't matter. They don't care. We're getting stuff done. We're having a good time. It's all right. All right, so I'm going to move basically this data folder into our data project, and I want to call it security. Add new folder. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And I'm going to just grab all of this. Paste. It worked. I can't believe it worked. Let's just change this from CoreWiki models to CoreWiki data security. We're going to need to reference identity in this project. I'm on the wrong package source. It's probably ASP.NET Core identity. Yep. Give me the 211 for right now. It's fine. And Identity Entity Framework Core we're going to need as well. Rats. Let's see if we can just... Entity Framework Core. Is that going to work? Is that going to do the thing? NuGet package restore failed. Fair. No, I think we're all right. Manage NuGet solution level to install same package uniformly. These are actually hidden inside of ASP.NET Core.app, the meta package. So you're not going to see these directly over there. So we kind of have to pick and choose, hunt and peck to find it. And that got it appropriately there. Let's see here. The migrations I'm okay with. There we go. Accidentally hitting the space key. Core Wiki user. Let's change this from Core Wiki areas identity data. Not to that. To data.security. This should be data.security. Okay. So it's now living in a nice place over here. And should I move these? I should. To data.security. Which means I'm going to do it also here. And here. Okay. Now I need to go back up here. Areas. So identity data, we're going to make that go away. Because there's nothing there anymore. Ha 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 ha. Identity hosting startup. This. Reference that security package. And we're good. Typer namespace in models. This is inside of the snapshot. Yep, get rid of that. That doesn't exist anymore. Over here. That doesn't exist either. But it knows what Core Wiki user is. Alright, Core Wiki identity context. This is in startup for Core Wiki, so we need to teach it about security. Seed data is inaccessible. Yep, that's got to be public now. Okay, Core Wiki first start CS proj. Right, that doesn't exist. If we build, I'll need to change namespace for the design CS files. You're right. We're gonna need to do that in just a second. Holy crow. All right. Replace that. Get rid of that. Core Wiki areas identity. That doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Yep. Get rid of that. I know what you're saying about the design files. We'll take a look in just a second. All right, Core Wiki user. This is the notification service. It needs to know about that. Wow. Is that Platanotum? Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here. Still curious if the migration will still work after they move to a different project and namespace. They do. We've already shown that that works, and yeah. Oh yeah. we'll do that. That's really cool to do. Holy cow, off topic, but super excited about losing 11 pounds in a week and a half by only eating red meat, and my blood sugar down. Well done, EM Triple. Congratulations. I need to work on that. I need to do something about that as well. I tend to seed data in the program CS file so that all the services get properly set up. I think that's where, for this first startup, I think that's where we're going to end up going, is doing exactly that. The startup for integration tests with test host will, yeah. I think we're on the same page here. Does not implement, notify new author, new comment, core wiki user. I think iNotification service. Yeah. This here. This needs to know about security. And we can get rid of that. I think that helps a bit. So now over here, get rid of that. Good. Much better place. Models does not exist in Core Wiki. I know. It's gone. And in fact, it doesn't reference models here at all. Core Wiki user could not be found. This is inside of details, CSHTML. It needs the new using statement. Refactoring. Love it. Love it. Get rid of that namespace. Core Wiki user again. Okay. Now the other thing is, this is very much an entity object that we're pushing around instead of a domain object, which is going to make things just a pain in the neck. It's going to make things a pain in the neck to refactor later. I'm going to do a find and replace on this chalupa right here. There we go. Find that. We're going to replace it with corewiki.data.security. Ooh, that's what you're talking about here in our design files. I'm going to skip that one for right now. Yeah. Skip those ones in the designers. That's a problem. Skip it. Skip it. There we go. Oh, yeah. Replace that one. Find next. Skip that file. Find next. Yeah. Skip the designer. Replace it there in that file. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Replace that one. Skip this one. Skip that one. Yup. Replace. Wow, there's a lot of these. But I'm going to feel much better about where this is when we're done. I mean, I can clearly see we're getting there, right? My scroll bar here is shortening. Yup. I could put a using in front of that and just get right to this, right? Make this using. Right? And I should hit just those. That's much better. Oh, no. I put 2 usings and didn't. That's better. All right. What's going on in the chat room? Carnivore. Yeah, doing the, what's it called? Ketogenic lifestyle. Our friend Carl Franklin, who writes the music we're listening to here, has a lot to say about that. 347 Vesta. I used to be a community moderator for a Rust community. I did stupid things and got demoted, so now I'm learning C# for my job back. Rust is made on Unity, so it's C# instead of whatever else it would be. I think I did some JavaScript. The community leader needs me as a plugin dev, so I'm over here learning a language. From what I saw, it has very little JavaScript. Well, JavaScript is, right, it's a website. It's a... In this project, you're going to see it in web front-end work. Unless you need to update existing code, it integrates nicely between old Unity had, but it's transforming. Yes, C# only. What do you think moving contract model into a NuGet package makes sense? Well, a NuGet package means it's in another project. As it grows, as it becomes more complex, I think it makes sense to do that instead of keeping everything in one project. And as the team grows and you want to make it easier to maintain, and you're going to be using that in more than just the web project like we are here, we're going to be using our user object in our first startup project and command line tool. We need to move that out of the web project because we don't want to reference a web project from a command line. That's going to be messy. I just got past the fright of looking at a 2,000 line plugin. Refactored to methods and objects. After I installed the latest VS Preview, I got a nice first start experience when using reformat code. Yes. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I made a scoring algorithm for competitive clans. 88 lines, my biggest project ever. 88 lines of code for a scoring algorithm. Okay, cool. Well, welcome 347. 347, welcome Vesta. There you go. Thanks for joining us here. I've got a var here this should be referencing. Sure, we'll flip that. Okay. That's not here, dude. All right. Am I right? The first start, that project shouldn't be here. All right. I'm not familiar with Oxide mod. Okay. So the other comment was inside of the designers here. There are references to, yeah, the full namespace of this. So we're going to need to find that. And we're going to look in just this project. And we're going to do a replace with CoreWiki data security. Oh, thank you for the follow, Vesta. I appreciate you joining us here. And helping us get towards our follower goal. I do need to put that in the user interface. I think I'm good to let it rip and just replace. Yep, do it. Do it. Oh my gosh, and the subscription. Thank you for using your Twitch Prime here. You're going to get a .NET bot emote that you can use anywhere on Twitch. And well, I'm not just going to take it. I'm actually going to match it. And together we're going to make a donation to Girl Develop It. That's an organization that helps girls, that helps women, underserved minorities as well, learn how to write code, just like we're doing here on on this channel. So thanks so much, and absolutely, feel free to use that bot everywhere you go on Twitch. Let them know how cool the .NET bot is. All right, and I'm working on. I want to see if we can get some emotes in the Visual Studio channel, because I think that'll be really cool. Patrick Smacchio put together a bat script for those dreaded file being used by another process error. Haven't seen it. Is there any way to change the colors for the displayed names in the chat? Yes. Well, you can't change somebody else's appearance. What you can do... Yeah, you can change your appearance. You can't change somebody else's appearance. And I completely appreciate the red-green colorblind. Sure, you can link that file. Absolutely. Oh, but are you referring to the names in the embedded chat? That's not a bad idea, because that does look really hard in that interface. Let me do some research on that. It's not something that I'm going to be able to change right now. Let me take a sticky note. Research normalizing colors of names in embedded chat. All right, I will look into that. You see the one in the video better. Oh, okay. St. Joseph. Hey, welcome, St. Joseph. We are... Do you go to St. Joe's, or... Big fan of St. Joe's. My father's a graduate from St. Joe's. This is C#, not C++. Dude needs a chatbot and just make his own. I did. I made my own. Yes. Visual Studio Script saves time and pain. Very cool. Needs brighter colors in chat on your end. Yeah, the... You know what? Actually, the what's it called? I thought Twitch has a dark mode. It does. If you click on your name in the top right, and it'll say, you know, mine says C# Fritz streaming programming. If you click that, about halfway down there is dark mode. If you click that, well, now I can't even see. I can't even see Vesta's name, but it'll flip it into dark mode. But that's some good feedback for the Twitch team to be able to have red-green colorblind configuration for chat names. That's pretty good feedback there. Will, for Twitch, can this be a setting like dark mode? Can colorblind mode be a setting? Let me make sure you see. I think that's a pretty good suggestion for the folks at Twitch. I'll reach out to the friends that I have over there and give them that suggestion. I think that's a valid and a pretty good suggestion for them. But Will, I'm all about making sure that everybody can participate, not just in my stream, but other folks' streams. And that's some pretty good feedback that I had not considered. How long have I programmed C#? As long as there's been a C#. I've been programming it since 2001. I'm actually on the I'm on the .NET team at Microsoft. So considerations, questions that we have about Visual Studio, about the language, we can address. I can take back to those teams and get some direct feedback. And if you look at some of the historical videos that we've done here on stream, you'll see I've had some of those folks on who are responsible for building things like C#. Mads Torgerson has been a guest twice now on stream with us. So Mads is the program manager. He's the lead language designer for C#. You can see his chat with us in our historical videos here. So yeah, we've been around. We've been doing this for a while. 347 Vesta. There you go. I see it okay in dark mode locally, but on your stream, a lot of the names are barely readable. They are on that gray background. If they're on a lighter gray background, it would be easier. I like the overlay where you can see what keyboard shortcuts. My online lessons don't teach them to me. Oh, that's called Karnak. That's a tool that you can download. And I have it configured just to show when I do Alt keys. So, wish Roslyn would allow for aspect-oriented programming. Don't know what to say about that. Using the Microsoft Virtual Academy by Bob Tabor thing. It's been enjoyable thus far. Well, if you look a little bit further in that Virtual Academy at the ASP.NET Core courses, you might see a familiar face in there. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Alright, so I've got all my security stuff moved out into this other repository. Who? Looks like I've got a couple more places here in my Razor files that we're going to need to touch up. Are you kidding? Do I really need to open this? Microsoft Virtual Academy ASP.NET Core. This is an older version of the course. Not this one. We don't like this one. That's a bad one. This one. This is a good one. Me. All right, there you go. All right, so let's fix up. We've got a couple Razor references here we need to clean up. View imports CSHTML. You're called Galloway. Oh, stop it. Uncle Bob. All right. Let's see. Well, I want to jump right into that CSHTML. Core Wiki view imports. Core Wiki. It's not this one. Well, actually, we're going to need to fix this one as well. Right, that should go to data.security. Right? And the other view imports probably has the same problem. Here. No, it doesn't. That one's fine. Well, look, that one jumped me appropriately. This is in Manage Nav. Pages Account Manage. Pages Account Manage. Oh, the navigation. Manage Nav. There it is. Nope, that should work now. Let's try rebuilding. Advanced courses. Oh, yeah. There you go. There's links to Virtual Academy. So, login partial. Let's check the login partial. Where is it? Oh, it's down here in the other half is where it is. Login partial. Yep. That's got to be changed to data.security. Security. And that should take care of the rest of it. Yep, 2.5 hours in. Feeling good. All right. That was a ton of changes. And all my tests still work. That's not saying a lot, is it? 31 files modified, a couple deleted because they were moved, and now we have the security area. Okay. Moved security data objects to the data project. Fantastic. Bonus! Alright, so now if I do git checkout and jump back over to the other project, and we git merge dev, merge conflict in core wiki solution. Feels bad, man. If I come back over here, yeah. What? Sure, go ahead, reload it. It's saying my solution file needs to be updated. Don't see. Let's open the solution file. Where is it? Core wiki sln. Right, it's that first start reference because I removed it in the one. Okay. Cool. Hey, Twitch Turbo people are kind of rare nowadays. No, you can turn on the Turbo. If I edit my appearance. Yeah, I have a Turbo button I could turn on as well. But instead I use the, what's it called? Right now I'm using the 2018 TwitchCon attendee icon. Alright, so that should have worked. Let's close and reload the solution. Close solution. No. Reopen the solution. It's right there. You like the crown? Well, okay, so the crown you get as a the crown you get as a Twitch Prime member, is that right? Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now First Start knows how to... That's interesting. Yeah, we're okay there. So now it has a reference to all of our security stuff. We need a Fritz in the kitchen stream? No, we don't. No. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Actually, okay, so our friends on Cooking with Heat. So that's Ellie-Face, that's Chef Brent. They've invited me over for a Cooking with Heat show. Those are Monday nights at about 7 p.m. Eastern. I just need to figure out a good time to go down there. Rainbow Bearder Fritz as a pastry chef. Now, cut that out. Okay. Soon Fritz Program AC would be a good show. As a pastry chef, though, that's something. I'm not sure why I'm getting this here. Let's rebuild and see what it says here. Build failed. Core Wiki data not compatible with Net Standard 2.0. No, it's not, actually. That's a good point. Core Wiki data. We made a net standard. Wait, where? Hang on. What? Hang on. Yeah. Alright, that warning is okay. Slug history, SQL repository. That's okay. And this is here when building first start. Core Wiki data is not compatible with Net Standard 2.0. Core Wiki data supports Net Core App 2.1. First start shouldn't be a Net Standard. It's a Razor class library. It is Net Standard. I'm going to turn that over to a Net Core app because it's referencing some things here that are going to force it to be Net Core. Well, let's make it Net Core App 2.1. Make that 2.11. There we go. Problem solved. What do we got here? Oh my gosh. The chat is going. Don't you use command aliases for Git? No, I do not. I can use Twitch Turbo, but Twitch Prime Crown is nice. Okay, cool. He can combine cream with nougat and chocolatey. Oh, I see what you got there. I see that. Yeah. That's a tech joke. Needs to be Net Core App 2.1. Yep. Chicken nuggets with Net Core App 2.1. I know someone whose first name is Fritz. I do as well. He was one of the principals of Pluralsight, a guy named Fritz Onion. But yes, but Fritz is my last name. I'm all American like that. The American guy with the German last name. Keynoted Developer Week Germany. That was a great event. I really enjoyed that. And I loved their coding at night experience. That was really cool. Some of the content they had in the evening there. I was thrilled. And SDK Web. SDK Web should be on that project. This. SDK Razor. Different. He's known to go on the Fritz. Yes, me as well. Onion is also IoT board. Hey, I'm an American guy with a German last name. See that? There's a lot of us. Remember that sort of debug page I showed you ages ago? It's now a Razor UI package that I haven't published yet. Awesome. Awesome, Smab. Hey, Tango Tech. Hello. My name is Leader. There you go. You definitely selected .NET Core when you did File, New, Project, First Start. This must be a VS scaffolding bug. I don't know if it's a scaffolding bug or if they chose to make it a .NET standard as a standard. But because of the things that I'm going to be referencing and using here, we need to go off standard into Net Core App, which should still be okay to reference and use in a .NET Core App project. Right, so if I add reference, first start, right, and now what I have down here in first start pages, index, give me your admin, right? And now if I run this, I'm out of coffee. And I don't have my water bottle here either. So at some point I'm going to get all parched. We're going to have a real problem. All your admin are belong to us. Yes. Right, so if instead of going to homepage, I go to, what is it? What was the name of our area? First start. It finds the area that's inside of our project, and now we can work here. Boom. Dark mode. Ouch mode. Default. I like it. AC would be cool in these heat. You don't have air conditioning, dude? Love the air conditioning. Alright. So we've got someplace to drop in this stuff. We've got someplace to start working with creating an administrator and putting it into our database, because we will have access to those things. Now, I think we're going to end up receiving a user manager and a password manager on this page, and is on whatever page it is that we start creating the administrator. But I think we've allocated enough here that folks can start injecting and building on top of this. 347 Vesta asks, what keyboard are you using? Funny you should ask. I wrote a blog post. So this is jeffreyfritz.com. This is my blog. And second article right now is mechanical keyboards. This is the keyboard that I'm using. This is a Vortex Racer 3. And there's links to it down here. These are the laptop keyboards that I was using as part of my earlier streaming experience. My Yoga 910. You can even see the serial number down there at the bottom. It's a special edition if you ever see me use my Yoga at conferences. My MacBook Air, and of course Surface Book, and it's that same very low travel keyboard, and the Vortex Race 3, and all the unboxing pics of it. It's a beautiful little keyboard that I swapped out the keys, so I got these funny colors in it. I am going to be ordering. Use the Race 75. It is a great little keyboard. I've carried it to various conferences so I could use it there when I'm working, because it's nice. I'm going to replace the A key with an Azure logo, with that Azure A. Right? Oh my gosh, Azure A logo. See if this thing. I'm going to replace my A with that. And the C here, Super C Sharp, I'm going to replace with the red version of this, that one. So, yeah, that's going to be cool for a C key and for an A key, and I'm just going to slowly make my way around the keyboard and customize this. And I might actually make up a bunch of them so I can send them out to folks who contribute here on stream. You know, might be weird though to send out a key to someone. NuGet logo for the N. Well, the NuGet logo doesn't actually have an N in it. You should do keyboard buttons with your Ship It logo in addition to mugs. I need to put a link to that. If you go to redbubble.com, people, C# Fritz, there's the Works on My Machine logo. Mugs, cases, laptop skins. I have a mug coming. It should be here tomorrow. But I have different colors for this. Are folks interested in different colors of this? I've got all different colors on this. NuGet must be a big meme. So, Vesta, I was the program manager for NuGet. The number of times that we've referenced NuGet here, yeah, it's a big thing. I linked keyboard making link. Where? You spend too much money on peripherals. Filco with Enjoy PBT keycaps. Oh, cool. The colors make it look fancy. It is fancy. Tried to go mechanical. Somehow I prefer the old wired Apple keyboard. Hey, that's alright. Hackaday. The A to Z of building your own keyboard. Let's grab that. What do we got? There we go. Oh, man, look at that thing. Whew. Wow. Yeah, that's something. I'm using cherry blue switches in this keyboard, and that's what the keys. I don't have any RGB lights in this, just the ones that signal what it's using. Do you know about artisan keycaps? Oh yes, I do. Special Fritz button that builds your code. Actually, I've reprogrammed the caps lock key so it jumps right into PowerShell. That's cool. I've also set up function up so it jumps right into Firefox. But we're working on figuring out different things. But I do have the Works on My Machine mug coming. It should be here. It might even be here today. But I should get it in the next day or two. We'll have it at the very least for Tuesday. And yeah, works on my machine. So if you like the logo, if you want to get it on your iPhone case, your Samsung Galaxy, or even as a laptop scan, I thought about doing that for my. It's the wrong size for a Surface Book. The laptop skin. It fits either a standard widescreen PC laptop or a various size MacBook. It doesn't exactly fit. Maybe I put it on my MacBook Air. I have the 13 MacBook Air. I don't know. Anyways, so there you go. I'm getting some keys made. I'm doing some other fun things with my keyboard. But the artisan keycaps are crazy expensive. Did Microsoft make you pay for your own product? Yes. Wonder if he pays for his own merch. I do. I do pay for my own merchandise. Yes. I got to pay for it to be merchandised, for it to be built. Yes. But I do like I said, I do match all subscriptions, all cheers, and we are making donations out of those. Okay. I think we're just about at the end of what I'm going to do here today. The RGB Mechanical Gaming Keyboard, Cherry MX. They should be paying me for it. Who should? Who should be paying me for it? You open PowerShell and start yelling at it. Absolutely. Cherry speeds because the keyboard didn't come in blue. Really wanted blue, but that's not happening. But the artisan keycaps are ridiculously expensive. I was looking on eBay for at keycaps. Keycaps. And some of these are ridiculous. Right, if we look for custom keycaps. $24.95 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keys. 6. Backlit keycaps, $27 to $100. Right, $40 for 4 keys and a key puller. Are you kidding? Overwatch key, $5. That's not bad. That would be actually pretty cool to have an Overwatch key for my O key. Don't worry about F#. I am not putting that on YouTube. That was terrible yesterday. Literally, things broke all over the place, and it was a disaster. There you go. $13 for... I don't even know what that is. Renzer 7X, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. That looks kind of cool. Volcano, but it's $60. Like, really? $40. You know, I mean, some of these are ridiculous priced. WASD, that's nice to have that swapped out. I can buy that, but it's only $4 to do the replacement, you know? And don't get me wrong, artisan folks, absolutely they should be paid for their work. I completely buy into that. I completely agree with it. Yes, let's pay our artists when they build something cool. But $100 for 1 key? Like, that's a lot. And if it was something that was specific to me, right? Maybe I make the Clack Factory. Clack Factory? Never heard of Clack Factory. Look at all the used listings. Yeah. Clack Factory. So what is this? Items for sale. I need to see some pictures on these. I saw a Corsair K55 last night. I have to see it now. Yeah, catch up on Twitch. It was not good. He made these skull ones and demand is insanity. Look on eBay. Who is this? Clack Factory on eBay? Oh my gosh. Clack Factory keycap. Ice Skull keycap, transparent. $50 for one key. I mean, if that's your thing, you know? I mean, okay, it looks kind of cool. You know? That's not even that wouldn't even fit into a Cherry MX. I mean, looks really cool, especially lit up like that. It's not my bag. You know? But that won't fit into a Cherry MX. No, I'm not going to buy it. Lights and mechanical, absolutely. That's the only one that I see here under all listings. Anyways. Alright. That's all. I'm really going to go. Buy 88 for your keyboard. No. Yeah, Cherry MX keycaps. 3D models of Cherry MX keycaps. Ooh, so you could print your own? Do tell. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, see with the plus on the bottom, so you can get it in there. .NET Philly want to contribute. I'm holding off on that right now because I want to focus on these other projects, and I also want to get that to a place that it's I've got a couple other projects at work that I need to get through before I can focus on this again. This is a command line tool that interacts with samples so that you can install samples from the web, and we'll eventually have a sample repository, .NET sample repository that you'll be able to download from. You're welcome to take a look and interact with this and contribute. It's something that I'm doing a little bit of planning around, and it's taking a slight back burner for right now because I have a couple of pressing things that I need to set up for .NET Conf in September, for Ignite in September, and we have our workshop next week. I have a workshop, a Xamarin workshop we're planning for August. That one's taking a little bit of work to plan, but it's going to be freaking amazing. We're going to build an Android app here on stream with folks from Xamarin University and a couple other Xamarin folks that you might know. And so this is taking a slight back seat as we're trying to get some of that stuff rolled out the door. But I think we're going to have a ton of fun. As long as I press the key, it does the right thing. I don't care what it looks like. I agree, Smab. But there is something kind of cool to customizing, being able to customize your keyboard. I don't want to spend a ton of money on it. I think it's WASD keyboards. Yeah, custom printed keycaps. I'm going to print up a bunch of these. Like I said, Azure logo, C#, the Super C# logo, and get a bunch of those printed up. That'll be fun. Get Jim Bennett on to talk Elmish for building apps, much less frustrating than what you're trying. I'm trying to get from 0 to on my F# stream. I'm trying to get from 0 to simple success, and I thought using Azure Functions would be a simple success, and boy was I wrong. And I need to move away from that because it's not happening. So I need to find a better project. But I've got a couple weeks till I need to figure that out, because next week we're going to do architecture. I think I did not push this up yet. Let me commit these changes. Yeah. Ready to start working on first start wizard experience. All right, so we've effectively got that branch ready to go. Now, before I push this up, I'm going to rebase, and I'm going to rebase all the way down to here. So this is going to be head minus 2. Yeah. Let's do that interactively. Head tilde 2. Now, rebase lets us rewrite our history. I'm going to effectively take those last 2 and combine them into one commit. So I'm going to pick the move security data objects into the data project, and this one I'm going to squish into it. Ah, crap, that's not going to do what I wanted. No. Abort. Abort! I guess we're alright with the 1 then. Alright. Let's push. Yeah, I need to set the upstream. Why don't you just do that for me? F# stream is not in the online calendar import. No, it is not. I need to put it out there. You're right. I'm functional first. I customize what the keys do first, what they look like last. Yes, I agree. I've done that, and I'm going to have some fun with it now. Functionality first, so you can customize key look last when you know what it should look like. Yeah. All right, so now we have a branch up there. Was surprised to catch me yesterday. Oh, it was terrible. Yesterday, I am not happy with how that went at all. I literally came away from yesterday's stream and I was downright angry. My countdown for Friday is incorrect. I can't express how much benefit there is to the way you're teaching in these streams. Thank you.
Keep it up.
Thank you, Paolo. Absolutely, we will keep it up. I appreciate you subscribing for 2 months in a row with your Twitch Prime there. It has the wrong start time. What has the wrong start time? Friday should have... There it is. Oh, you're right. Oh my gosh, it does. Oh, you know what? Because I moved it 1 week. Where's it? Extensions. I will change that right now. And then we will we'll wrap up here. My extensions. And I'm in the middle of rolling out actually a custom extension with some help from our friends at Twitch. Stuff that's going to be, I think you folks are really going to like. Stream schedule. Here it is. Let's customize that. Yes, configure. You're right. Friday is still set to the wrong time when I had to move it to the afternoon the one day. And I ended up not being able to do that. Let's fix that. Alright. Done. And I do have a calendar that you can download. Alright. Cool. Alright, so we pushed up our changes. Now that project branch... Wrong one. Wrong project. That project branch is here so that we have some place to work on it. And we're almost done the other project on versions and ratings. Because we do have versions, we need to finish supporting wiki, text, and article ratings. I think we need to look at that in the week ahead. But I think we've got some other fun in the week ahead. We already support Markdown. Markdown's already supported. So we've pushed everything up. We're going to be talking to... We have our guests this week. Let me go back. I believe it's Tuesday, if I have it correct here. Yep, Rocky Lotka is going to join us on Tuesday, and we're going to talk about CSLA. We're going to not talk about one of our current projects, but he's going to show us a little bit about that. We'll take a look at some samples and learn a little bit about doing some application architecture using CSLA. Friday is going to be our architecture workshop. Should be about 8 hours. I'm finishing up the timing and the scheduling with all of our presenters for that day. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you tune in for that full day of architecture work. Once I have the folks locked down in the next day or two, you'll see a schedule pop up with all the information about that event. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me here today. We went about 3 hours. We answered a lot about Entity Framework Core, working with migrations. We did some work on our Core Wiki project so that we could start setting up a first start wizard. And we moved that out into a separate project so that if folks want to contribute and start working on that, it's a little bit easier to reach out and grab and participate in. And before I sign off here, I want to take a quick look around and see if there's another programming streamer that we can host. We can raid. Is Dev Chatter... Is he started? Is he going on right now? I see Adventures in Programming is going right now. Come on, I need to find somebody good to raid. Need to find... Who am I going to raid? Who am I going to raid? Let's see. Let's see if Dev Chatter has started. Nope. He is not live right now. So here's what I'm going to do. Play that Mario music again. Let's go over to Adventures in Programming. And I think we will raid over here. JavaScript and Vue.js. Yeah, here we go. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to watch and complain about all the architectures. Oh, there's our friend Glenn. No, it'll be fun. All right, so let's raid Adventures in Programming. I think we've caught up with him before. There we go. So thanks so much for joining us. I'll be back on Tuesday. My guest will be Rocky Lotka. We'll be pair programming with him at that time. I hope you have a good time the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend here. And we'll catch you later. Come on, raid. There it goes. Enjoy. Check out the next stream, and we'll see you later. Take care.